everybody and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be moving on from the chemistry basics to the part 2. Now in part 1, in the last part, we saw what was an atom. How did it all work and how was everything working out over there. Now I planted a little seed in your mind that what see that atoms must be made of something. Why? You will ask. Because oxygen atoms, meaning what oxygen is made of, and gold atoms need to be different because they have different properties. Like oxygen's a gas. It's different, very different. Gold on the other hand can melt. It is yellow in color, right? So that's the difference. So meaning atoms are made of something too. Now that's what happened to one of the very famous scientists called J.J. Thompson. Now this scientist was also like, oh my gosh, what's up with them? What's inside the atom? So what's before scientists used to do was to experiment, right? That's how science was all discovered. So they did another experiment. So if they what J.J. Thompson did was to have a tube over here, right? Then he had two poles and he had a wire connecting all that to a cell. Now, what you might think, what's a cell? What's all that you're talking about? A cell is basically the battery cell. You know what your toys run on? You have these little cylindrical looking things like that, and they have positive and negative, and you put it into a springy thing, and there's a disc over there, so they go in the middle like that, right? So those are the cells that we're talking about. Now in science, you represent a cell like this. Now the big part is the plus side and this part is the minus. Now, one thing that you need to know is that minus attracts plus, meaning if there are different charges, meaning minus and minus, they will repel. Repel meaning they will try to go away from each other. But they're the same particles, meaning if they're, different particles like plus and minus, they will attract each other. Okay? They want to come closer to each other. They want to come closer to. So that's what's happening about here for the charges. Now, what he did was to pass electricity. Electricity meaning he was just passing stuff like that because he knew that atoms would flow once things are connected. They would flow through this wire, right? But then here is minus and here is plus. What he saw was that from the minus terminal, he saw rays of light shooting like that. Now, in this tube, just telling, there's very less air pressure, meaning there's nothing that these particles in the light were moving on this side, meaning light is made of particles too. These particles, these lights are moving. And there's so less air pressure that they can't possibly bump into anything. So there is less air, meaning there's no air. No air meaning there are no air atoms, meaning these particles can't bump into the air atoms. Okay, so they were moving. Now what he did was to put this sheet of paper on this end and see if it was shining. Now, if it shined, it meant that there was something hitting it, right? There was some kind of light on it. And if it didn't shine, meaning he was wrong about all of this. Now, you guessed it, it started to shine. Now, it means what he did was right. Something was flowing. Now, to just make sure everything was going right, he put a fan over here. You know a fan which gives you air? Now that was stopped, and when he connected the battery, meaning the cell, it started to move, meaning something was hitting it, that it was making it rotate. Now, what he made out of that was that in an atom, there's some minus charges in there, meaning there was something in there which was negatively charged, right? Why? Because if you move from minus to plus, meaning some minus particles are moving, right? So that's why he came up with that solution. Now, what did he call these negatively charged? He calls them electrons. Okay? He calls them electrons. Now, if an atom is negatively charged, then everything in the whole wide world, every single thing, will be negatively charged, meaning everything will repel each other because they're same charged. So what will happen? They can't stay together. We would tear up, meaning there has to be some positive charges in there. So they put positively charged particles in there too, like that. So that's how they thought the atom looked like. But were they right? Who knows? Well, you will know soon because I will keep uploading videos to get you carried on further. Now, what we have learned is that J.J. Thompson, found electrons and he put this model in like that of an atom. Now, you might think if atoms are made of these things, negatively charged and positively charged, how do they make the substance different? Like, how does it make a gold yellow? And how does it make oxygen like a gas? Nice questioning there. Well, just saying, when he found out about these, he was like, maybe the number of things matter. Meaning, hey, maybe he didn't say that, but that's what they were wondering. Maybe the number of electrons in the cell could change the property. And that could be it, because there are things made of it. So, it's all balanced out. Now, that's what they believed in the 1800s, you can say, I think. It was 1800s, late 1800s, or even early 1900s. I do not remember. But it was one of them. Okay? So that's our topic for today. Hope you understood everything. Hope you learned something new. And I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and bye-bye. And have that little seed planted in your head all the time. Think about it.